girl, we meet again. It is another. What's up?
I said we did it. We're here.
Yay!
One more week.
Guys, if you have not, if you're listening to us and not really paying attention, I just need you to pay attention to my beautiful co-host. She looks gorgeous. And when you guys hear about our crazy adventure from this weekend, you're going to be like, how does she even look this good right now? So we've got stories, we've got adventures, we've got injury stuff to talk about. We've got picks for the week to talk about. We're coming at you with some more drink recipes, all the things. But we're not going to start anywhere else but right here talking about our epic adventure. Beth, I am going to leave the floor open for you because this was a first time memorable event. And I'm still in a whole nother ball game with that. So let's talk about, from your point of view, what happened to get you to this Bills-Niners game.
So I don't know if you all have heard in the past that we had been talking about this Bills-Niners game, and I was super disappointed because Desi and her husband were going to get to go to this game, and I was responsible, not going to go, trying to save some money, just time-wise with work and all the things. It just didn't make sense, right? So I did all the adult things. My family came down for Thanksgiving. We had a great time. My sister, her husband, and their kids came, spent the whole week. Wednesday, I get a text message from this beautiful lady of Coach Desi, and she said, hey, my husband's sick and may or may not go to this game. What you thinking? I was like, well, I don't know what you mean by what you're thinking, because if you're thinking that you want me to go to the game or I can go to the game, I mean, put me in. And all in jest, totally joking around. By no means did I think that any of this would come to fruition. So Thursday comes and goes. We're in and out of chit-chatting about the possibilities. It's Thanksgiving. We're having dinner with family. We're jumping back and forth between family events to text messaging about this game. What are the options? How could we do it? What if we did do it? What if we didn't do it? And I finally got to the point where I'm like, I can't do it, right? Like it's not going to work. Friday, Desi comes back with me and says, what if you used Greg's flight? What if we transferred the ticket into your name? I was like, oh, crap. So I go back to my family. I'm talking to my sister, my brother-in-law, and my husband, and my 2 kids. And we're like, well, if I use the flight, well, that would be just a quick flight up and a quick flight back. And Desi's flying back super early on Monday. So then I could still get to work on time and all the pieces, right? So I convinced myself, yes, let's do it. We then go, because we're families here, we then go climb Stone Mountain. We go do family events, go hiking, get back to the car. Desi calls and goes, we can't transfer the ticket. So at that point, I go, well, game's
curse you, airlines, like curse you.
I know. We didn't plan it. Who would have thought? But so she's like, if we did transfer it, we can't transfer it, and if we did, it would just still have to be in Greg's name and has to be used for another time. So we then got to that point where we're like, all right, it's done. No more. We get home from hiking. My son starts Googling flights for me. Gabe is 12. Part. He's like, Mom, we got to figure this out. Like, how much is it? How bad can it be? So then he starts Googling flights for me, how much it would cost to get home, just a one-way flight or a flight there and back. I was like, no, because the only flight we could find was Frontier. And, if you fly Frontier, you get literally a purse size bag to carry with you. And I'm like, I'm not paying to fly to and from Buffalo if I can only carry a purse, right? I didn't have any gear. I wouldn't have anything. So I was like, no, we're not going to spend the money. We then go pet alpacas, another family event. We meet alpacas, we pet them. We're hanging out, we're getting ready to go to dinner. And Desi sends me a text that says, Josh Allen just got engaged. And that was it. I was like, I have to go. I can't believe Josh Allen just got engaged. There's supposed to be a drone show at the football game. Like, I have to go. We go out to dinner. Long story short, my mother-in-law is sitting next to me. My sister's sitting across from me, who all this time has been saying, be smart. Don't do it. It's hard being an adult. Don't do it. And then my sister's like, well, I mean, you could ride to Buffalo with us. And my mother-in-law was like, I'll take the children. So I'm at dinner without my husband, with my sister's family and with my in-laws. And they just basically instigated the whole thing, which thank you very much, both you ladies, because you made for such a great trip. So then I jumped in the car. I dropped my car, my kids off at my mother-in-law's, she packed me a travel toothbrush, travel toothpaste, travel deodorant, and a charging cube for my phone. Put that all in a Ziploc bag, put it in my tiny purse, jumped in my sister's car, and drove 2 days back to Buffalo.
Pause. This woman had no luggage. She packed no clothes. She had what we call the bare minimum. When I found this out, I'm thinking, I want you guys to think about Home Alone. When the mom has to hitch a ride in the polka truck, in the polka van, like that's what I'm just like, she is just in, wheels up, let's go. She's now riding from Atlanta to, okay, I'll let you finish it from here because I just had to intercede here. This is what's going on in my brain at this point in time.
So, and my sister commented, she said, my husband knew the whole time. He had all this time been saying, you know, you're going to go. You know, you're going to go. Why don't you just go? You got to go for that type of experience. But the last time he heard, we had discussed, no, I'll be home. He referees high school football. They're in playoffs. I said, no, bring the crew on over. We can have drinks at the house when you get home. It'll be a good time. So once we're in the car driving to Buffalo, I sent a text message to my husband that said, call me when you get a chance, or call me when the game's over. And so when he called me back, I said, the first thing I said, please pick up your children from your parents' house because I left them there and I'm in the car going to Buffalo. If you could have heard how loud he laughed, it was hysterical. He was belly laugh deep in the gallows. Like, I have not heard him laugh that hard in a long time. So shout out to him as well for holding the fort and making sure kids got picked up and my car made it back home before I got home from Buffalo. But so then we drove halfway and then we finished our drive through Buffalo on Saturday through the blizzard, through the 90 that had just reopened. My brother-in-law did a great job of navigating that storm, and we drove real slow. But we made it. We showed up at my mom's house, who also didn't know I was coming. Called her on the way and said, is the spare key still where it's always been? And she said, yes. And I said, okay, I'll see you in a couple hours, and kind of left it at that. So she was left in the dark. We were sending pictures to my siblings of us along this journey. Nobody really understood what was happening. So it was a lot of fun. It was a good adventure. I got to spend time with my mom, my dad, lots of sister time, which was great. And then it all accumulated up to the game, which I can't talk a whole lot about because I can't feel it as well as I feel sad when I talk about it because I don't want to hurt Desi's feelings.
Oh, no, I'm totally. So, okay. So now I'll just kind of pepper in a little bit of my situation. So I fly up Saturday morning. I have to get up at the butt crack of dawn, but somehow Beth is going to be driving. I'm in the air. I don't know what's happening. And I'm just saying, you know what? We're just going to make it a thing. Like, my girl's on the way. This is what I want. We get up there and there's no snow. Like, my girlfriend picks me up. There's no snow anywhere around Buffalo. Like, we drive to the stadium. There's like a slight dusting. And I'm like, okay, this is good. This is good. Mind you, because Beth left with only the clothes on her back and a little Ziploc bag of supplies in the polka van on the way up, I brought my husband's entire ski gear. So I brought all the clothes. So
Thank God you did.
Because she had nothing. I'm like, girl, I just don't have boots. That's the only thing I don't have for you. So it was just, this is comical. She left her husband, left her family, holiday weekend. She did pet the alpaca. She did her mom thing. She goes up on a whim. My husband can't go. This is just setting up for like an epic adventure. So we finally connect. Actually, she touches base with me like at 9:00 at night. You're like, I'm almost there, or something like that. So really Sunday morning is when we connected and was like, okay, what are the plans? So she comes over around 3 o'clock. We have everything together, but she wakes up sick and she's like, I'm taking Zicam and vitamin C and
Afrin. I had like the sprays and the cold medicine. I was going to make it through that game. I was like, I'm already here. What am I going to do now?
and then I didn't even realize so first of all, I've been friends with her husband way before I met her. So she's like a sister-in-law to me, a pseudo sister-in-law, because Dana and I were kind of like brother, sister when I first met him. So this is just so magical that I was friends with him and he knew who she was running off with. So it wasn't like some random person.
I would say that probably did help the situation.
It probably did help the situation. So we get to the stadium. And let me see what's Technics Chicks in the house. And she says, when you were on Steph's podcast last Friday, shout out to 49 Carats podcast. I do injury reporting for them. I was going to say we're going to need the cocktails, not mocktails, but glad you had some good company and you and Beth were able to go to the game. Yes, which we did have cocktails. We did not do mocktails that day. But I'm gonna share with you guys a little bit of our memory lane here. So just to show you, this is the snow situation. That was what we trudged through to get to the stadium from the tailgate. The tailgate was epic because, boom, we had the setup. Like when you have real Bills Mafia doing real Bills Mafia things, you have a space heater, you have a full bar, you have a TV playing the Ravens game, you have, of course, Buffalo pizza, Buffalo wings, you have the radio kicking. It was phenomenal. And I didn't even realize we got to the tailgate around like 5:30-ish. We did not sit until we got back to the car sometime around midnight, 1 o'clock. I don't know. We stood the whole time. So then this is us. This is us during the game. And you can see the snow that we had to trudge through there to get to our seats a little bit there on the ground. It was good for me because I'm short. So I kind of made a shelf out of the snow. Later in the game, it kind of started to get icy and I was kind of slipping and sliding a bit, but it was all good. And then finally, this is my favorite picture because I didn't even realize until we were already at the game. This was Beth's first Buffalo Bills home game. And that picture says it all, guys. Like the fact that I was even part of her first home game is just amazing. Like I remember my first time seeing my Niners. It was epic. I have not been to Levi Stadium. That's on my bucket list. But the fact that I was there for hers, I mean, I hated that we lost, but my girl was there. She deserved the win. This was her first game. Let's do it. So one more thing I want to share with you guys, because Beth has not seen this. There's only one way you really gain entry into Bills Mafia. And guys, buckle up because get your popcorn because this is really entertaining. Don't thank me yet. Here you go. Beth, here it is.
2, 1. Maybe they'll actually break.
You better get some height.
I know. I was like,
Can we get a go Bills when you jump?
yes.
Yes.
1, 2, 3.
Go Bills! It's broken!
Yes, we did break the table.
It took a couple tries. That's what happens when you put it in a snowbank, though. We weren't thinking about it.
We had lots of padding. I think we had so many layers.
We did. We had plenty of layers. It was perfect.
And the beverages didn't hurt either. So that was it, guys. That was our epic adventure to Orchard Park, to Highmark Stadium to watch the amazing Bills do their thing. What did you think of the actual game, Beth?
It was perfect. It was a beautiful, beautiful game. I'm sorry, Desi. I know. It really, I mean, we were in a snow globe. It was leaf blowers blowing off the lines so you could see where they were going. Josh Allen had an amazing game. Our defense played great. I could give you all the stats. I could give you all the things, but you know what happened. And I think a lot of people already know what happened. It's been all over the place. Josh Allen was breaking records for our team in itself, 245 touchdowns, the most in our franchise history. What was that other crazy one that he's the first quarterback to have a passing, rushing, and receiving touchdown in a game. They are just so fun to watch right now. They're
They are
so
so
fun to
fun.
watch.
And yes,
Go ahead.
so fun to watch. Shout out to you. Congratulations. You guys won your division with that game. So good stuff there. I thought we got a picture with you and with that in the background, but we didn't.
I think we just got the Highmark Stadium, but I will say, oh no, we just had a picture of the sign, but I also will say I still have Mr. Brightside playing in my head. It's stuck.
Well, me on the other hand, I was like, my heart was crushing in the first 2 quarters. I kind of predicted it. I kind of told everybody this game's going to be over by halftime. It certainly was. When Christian McCaffrey went down, I kind of freaked out. My husband texted me and was like, he tore his Achilles. And I couldn't see because, it just happened so fast and you can't see the replay real well. Snow's coming down everywhere. So I'm trying to get to my Twitter feed and I'm trying to actually I tried to call Steph. I'm like, what's happening? The Wi-Fi in the stadium was not awesome. So I couldn't really get it. And people, thankfully, afterwards, shout out to anyone that was, responding to my tweets because I was like, what is happening? This is what my husband said. And they were like, no, he ran off knee. So he has a PCL, a posterior cruciate ligament injury. He is out for at least 6 weeks. We did cover PCL injuries before. I just want to bring up the image again so that we can talk briefly about his injury. There's just been so many injuries, but while I'm looking for that, I also want to share just my condolences to Trent Williams' family. Another tragedy for our team. Trent Williams' wife was pregnant with twins. It sounds like maybe there was a twin-to-twin situation where one of the twins had passed away earlier during the pregnancy. And then I believe the other one was born at 35 weeks stillborn. So there is really nothing more tragic than losing a child. And now we've had 2 players this year. Again, thanks to Bills Mafia. They came out and supported Travarius Ward's nonprofit after he lost his daughter at 1 year old. So this has just been a tragic year. And at this point, just for mental health purposes, I'm kind of pulling off Twitter a bit because I think people just need to step back and realize that there is a lot more going on with our team than just the X's and O's on the field. And, rather than just kind of dealing with anger and raging about all these things, I think it's just a time to support our team, support our players. Life is too short, guys. And, I'd like to see a little bit more kindness out there. But Beth, let's talk about PCL injuries real quick for all my Niners fans that are worried about Christian McCaffrey now that he's come back from his Achilles tendonitis. Now we've got to worry about his PCL. So do you want to go through this?
Sure. Well, fortunately, I think one of the big things that I want to make known, while this probably is a season-ending injury for him, it's not because it's as serious as maybe like that would require surgery and rehab and a seriously long recovery process. PCLs have better blood supply, so they heal much faster and frequently don't require surgery. So that's a positive for surgery. We're heading in the right. Hopefully, I haven't heard more. I don't know if you have, Desi, but it sounds like it's probably a 6-week injury, which is the end of your season, but it is also gives him time to heal, and he's going to be ready for spring training and practice and all of that stuff without too much of a problem and rehab through the summer. So your ACL and PCL cross over the middle. Your PCL prevents that forward shift of your tibia. The front shin of your leg from moving forward. So I did not see the injury. I was in the bathroom, I think, at that point, or maybe grabbing a drink. So I did not see the mechanism of that injury. But from my understanding, he did get up. I think he just landed hard on his knee. If I recall, he was able to stand up. He was able to walk off. He tried to come back in again on the next play or 2 plays later when he went in. He just slid instead of taking on a tackle. And that to the player a couple weeks ago they talked about, I believe it was from Buffalo even, that he ended up landing on that and just like, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel 100%. I don't feel like I can protect myself. And so that's why he went off when he did. Instead of when he left the game, it did not look like an injury. And that's because he had injured it 2 or 3 plays before that.
And that's what happened here. So Christian McCaffrey was in the game. He was breaking through and he fell right on his knee. So if his shin, it was almost at a 90-degree angle. So let's see if I can. So if this is his tibia and this is his femur, his thigh bone and the shin bone, when he came down, he literally hit the ground, boom, like this. And so it caused this tibia to push back. And that was the strain on the PCL that caused that injury, the PCL strain. Now, there's a lot of people saying, oh, this is, they were concerned about the PCL. They were concerned about an ACL. I saw people talking about just a strain. I even threw in there, maybe it's a fractured patella because it's icy out there, cold. I was like, gosh, that really hurts. And you can get even a break of the kneecap, the patella. So he's out 6 weeks. But we're going to talk about one more injury, and then we have a guest, and then we're going to talk about our cocktail mocktail of the week. I didn't even do it. So this is the injury we were officially going to do. So let's play our intro. Still makes me so happy to hear that. All right, so here we go. We have Dexter Lawrence of the Giants, who got a gnarly injury. I was going to show the video, but I can't get it to no, it's not going to happen. I won't even do it. But he fell, and in a classic way, what he did is he supinated, so his arm came up. He hyper extended. You can't even see it because the thing's on. And his arm went back. So his arm is back. His arm came out from his side, came back, and his hand was palm up. Okay. So all of that had to happen, and he injured an elbow dislocation. So this is the elbow. You can see up at the top, the anatomy is in the appropriate spots. Down below, you can see kind of behind the elbow, that divot, that dip that's in. And what that is that space where the humeral component is supposed to be there with the ulna. It's supposed to be in that little cup, as you see, that's empty. In the bottom left corner, you can see that humeral aspect has jumped up, and it's now kind of on top of the radius. There's a bunch of different types of dislocations. This is what's demonstrated here is an anterior dislocation. And it is, oops, where's my data here? I had data. Where'd it go? I think I clicked off of it. Let's see if I can find it. 80% of all elbow dislocations are this type of dislocation. If you don't fracture it, what you can do is you can simply, there's a maneuver that you have to do to pull that forearm down and kind of pull it down and forward to put it back in socket. Fun story. I had an elbow dislocation come into the ER when I worked in the ER, and I was super pregnant. And here I am, and his arm was the size of my thigh. And my little old me has got my foot hiked up on the bed frame, and I'm pulling with all my might trying to get that the ulna pulled down and back in the socket. And my attending ER physician came over and was like looking at me and just shaking his head. He's like, please stop before you have a baby at the same time. Because I think it was like 6 months old.
That would be quite the story for sure.
Yeah, but that's not the right story that we want. So let's see. So where's the data here? Okay. So this is a simple dislocation with no associated fracture happens about 50 to 60% of the time. If you have a dislocation with the fracture, that's somewhere between 40 to 50%. And in some cases, you have something called the terrible triad, which is a dislocation along with a fracture of the, let me see if I can go back to our little picture here. If you look at the, let's look at the bottom left circle. So you see that humerus is right on top of what's called the radial head. And it looks like a white little round noggin there. That is the humor, that's the radial head. You'll get a fracture of that radial head, which is complicated because that's one that you really don't want to fracture. That sometimes it's a different treatment than immobilization, depending on the type of fracture of a radial head. And then you have a fracture of the lip of where the olecranon is. And so it's basically not a great situation. Now, Dexter is out, and I think Daboll has even said that he might be like, this might be a career ending type injury. So I'm going to show you.
Pause you for a second.
Yeah.
I was going to say, you've still got that image up there. I didn't know if you wanted it.
Yeah, I'm going to switch out to this one.
There you go.
This is the problem when you have a dislocation. When you have a dislocation, the yellow things in this image are your nerves. There's 3 big nerve supply to the forearm: the radial nerve, the median nerve, and the ulnar nerve. The ulnar nerve is that funny bone. When you hit that nerve, that's what creates that burning sensation in your hands. They call it the funny bone. So when you have these types of dislocations, it's the ulnar and median nerves that can be disrupted, along with that nice big juicy red vessel going down. That's your brachial artery. So you can have some massive injury to the nerves, the vasculature. You have to worry about lots of different complications: nerve damage, vascular damage, something called compartment syndrome, which you guys might know mostly from Alex Smith's injury. So if you remember, Alex Smith was the quarterback for the 49ers. He was also quarterback for the Chiefs, and then also had a slight career in Washington as the then Redskins quarterback, where he got injured with his lower leg, and he had a compound fracture, and then had complications. He did have compartment syndrome. What compartment syndrome is you've got these tiny muscles in your forearm and your lower leg, and they have connective tissue around the muscle bundles. And when you have a traumatic injury, those muscles can't swell out because that soft tissue holds it in. So it swells in on the vasculature, on the nerves, and it can cause severe damage. And if it's not taken to the operating room quickly, and basically what they do is they release the fascia that the muscle bundle is in. So they cut open that connective tissue to release the muscle, to allow the muscle to essentially swell without compressing those tissues. So I don't know all the details at this point on Dexter Lawrence's injury, but we really hope that he recovers quickly. We hope that he has great providers that are doing all the right things for him, and that he heals up quickly. But that was our injury spotlight for tonight. All right, we have a visitor, Beth. We have someone
I'm
that
so
we
excited.
I know. We haven't seen her since last year, and her team is killing it in the NFC. So, I can't talk shit no more because my team is, as you said, out of it, even though some folks are still holding on to hope, and they're trying to do the calculations of Christian McCaffrey could be back before the playoffs. If anything's possible, but I feel like we just need to end our season and let it go next time. But here we guys, without further ado, this is our friend Laura, who is a member of the Lions Pride, her wonderful Detroit Lions. She's got a beautiful background. What's up, Laura?
Hey, it's good to be back. I'm very excited to talk to you all again.
How's it
So good
been?
to see you.
So, it's been good. I mean, it's been good.
Well,
Has everything settled? You've been through a lot because
Yes.
you are a Detroit Lions fan, but you don't live in Detroit. So
Correct. Yeah, I live in Asheville, North Carolina, and of course we had Hurricane Helene run through here a couple months ago, and it was kind of a mess for a while. But we're back to normal mostly. I mean, it's still a mess, but we're back. Not like, we're not used to it like Florida. So
Yeah, you guys were not built for it at all. And that was devastating. I mean, we had our own issues here, but my heart definitely wept for all those in North Carolina. I went to school in North Carolina and know several people there. So I know the efforts are still ongoing, lots to heal and put back together for sure. So,
But
so
we're doing it.
yeah, continued prayers. But
But Detroit has been keeping you happy, so share.
Yes, we have football to keep us busy.
yes. So what are you most excited about when you talk about your Detroit Lions?
I mean, honestly, so I'm not young, and I've been a lifelong Detroit Lions fan. I was raised on the Detroit Lions, and we are at 11-1. This is the first time in league history that we have been in this position, and this is a team that was founded in 1932. So it's a long time coming. So I've been through the bad years. I lived through the 0-16 season, just the sheer joy. Although on the flip side, there's a part of, I think, every Detroit Lions fan that we're not sure we believe it. Like deep in our hearts, we're like, is this too good to be true? Is this real?
Kind of like imposter syndrome, right? Like
A little, yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen, we want you to enjoy those higher ticket prices like the rest of us. So, there's only one way.
And also appreciate the fact this was one of the things as the Bills were getting better. That's been one of the things that's been great is that you get to watch them more often, right? So now they're on a prime time game. They're the whole nation's watching. You don't have to buy the NFL Network, the pay-per-view, or all the other things that whatever it is in order to pay more to watch your games or spend time at a bar, which is fun, but it's more money. So it's great to be able to watch those games at home a little bit more.
Exactly.
As an out-of-towner who has her team out of town, that's been probably the biggest thing that you're like, oh my God, I can watch them today. Like we're not getting blacked out for something.
Absolutely. And yeah, we've got, we just had the Thanksgiving Day game, which we always have. And historically, not historically, but at least for the last a long time, we've lost it. We won this year. It was messy, but we won. So that was exciting. But then we play again on tomorrow, on Thursday.
Yep.
So yeah, this
week.
has been just, a crazy week of football.
Well, enjoy it. I got Technics Chick saying, shout out to the Lions. Had rooted for them except for the NFC Championship game, because this one is a Niners fan. She's on my team. Last year, always love a good underdog, and their coaching does things the right way. Yes, love your coach. There's been a lot of exciting moments. Goff going for his perfect game. You have Amon-Ra doing the thing on his head. Like, what has been your favorite moment of this season?
Oh gosh, I have to say that the crazy part is this happened during the hurricane, so I couldn't see the game. But the Jared Goff's perfect game, I will remember that even though literally I couldn't watch it because we didn't have power, we didn't have internet, and we couldn't watch it. But being able to just we would go somewhere and check the internet real quick, where we could get connection and see what was going on. And it was super thrilling, and it kind of kept us engaged during that. I think that was a big thing, that this season has been for us. We've had a couple of messy games that, it didn't work out the way we wanted to, but several of our games have been practical blowouts, just an insane amount of points, which usually in Lions history, we were on the opposite side of that score, right? We were watching other teams come and absolutely destroy us, 10-62. But this time it's been us.
Yeah. Well, that's been great. It's been great to watch you guys. There was a big moment where it was Aiden Hutchinson, who was one of my favorite Lions players, love that dude ever since I saw the video of him singing back in, I think it was last summer.
Yeah.
But I will say that was a big, oh my goodness moment. And then you guys just didn't skip a beat. So
And the fact that we didn't, like, because you do the injury reports, right? You could have a literal like 5-hour special on all of the injuries on our defense. Like, we are down to deep cut players right now. But even though that's the case, we've been just hitting it. Like, we've been, the Thanksgiving Day game wasn't as perfect as we would have liked it to be. In our Houston game, there were a lot of problems with that. But for the most part, we come in, and even without our fully healthy defense, we've been able to make things happen. And that's just exciting to watch.
Yeah. I think that was Beth's situation last year with her Bills. So many injuries.
Absolutely. So many injuries, but we're, knock on wood, this year we've done a really good job of keeping people healthy and getting our players back that were injured. So just gonna bite my tongue for a little bit longer because we've got you in a couple weeks, and I'm real nervous about that game. I'm real excited, but I'm real nervous.
I'm also nervous about that game. I think that is one of the best matchups that we've had all season. You guys are top of where you are. We're top of where we are. I mean, this could literally be a Super Bowl matchup, and I think that that's really exciting, but also a little scary.
A little preview of what's to come, maybe.
Hopefully.
I know, I agree. I think it's gonna be a great game. I can't imagine. I've got friends here in Atlanta who are Lions fans, and we talked about, because at one point they were talking about flexing the game to a later time, and we're like, no, we're supposed to watch the game together. We can't watch the game late at night. Like, don't make us do that. So
exactly. Yeah, late night Sunday games. That's the other thing about being a team that's actually good, right? Is that suddenly we have a lot of 8 o'clock some games where I'm used to literally 1 o'clock every Sunday and nobody watched it. It's just us.
Well, I will tell you, here's what the rest of your season looks like. So as you know, tomorrow you guys are playing the Packers at home, though, in Detroit. And then week 15, we might have to have you on again as we preview. Actually, that's next week. We might need to have you back to preview the Bills-Lions game.
Sure.
So Buffalo is heading to Detroit for that game. And then you play the Bears again. And then you're playing the Niners, which is supposed to be a Monday Night Football game. I don't know how exciting that's going to be. But this is the game that I'm waiting for, Vikings-Lions game, because I feel like that could be a big NFC postseason game as well. And the fact that it's the last game of your season, what do you think about these next games coming up?
Throughout the beginning of the season, like, a lot of people have said, oh, we had an easy start, or we had this or that. We really didn't. We've been a pretty good matchup with everybody all along. And, selfishly, I wish the rest of the NFC North weren't as good as it is. And we weren't expecting them to be fair, like the Bears, whatever. But, the Vikings and the Packers, we were expecting to be far and above, just run away with this division. And we really didn't this year. So it is, this Packers game tomorrow and the Vikings game at the end of the year. Those are going to be, I'm not as worried about the Bears, although they almost beat us, a week ago. But it's kind of crazy that these teams are as competitive together as they would. We didn't expect that.
Right.
But it's going to be a rough.
10-1.
Yeah.
Who would think of being 10-1 that you're like just barely hanging on to the top, right? Like that shouldn't be
11-1, and we're
11-1. That's
11,
right? Like how is that? How is that even possible?
Well, exactly. I mean, that's exactly right. Like how can you be 11-1 and be at the top of the division, of course, but be so closely followed by 2 other teams? So, but I think we can do it. I mean, we pull a lot of wins just out of thin air, even when we're struggling. So, I'm not going to say that I'm so confident that we're not confident. I'm not so cocky that we're going to win out, even though I'd like to. And I think we could. But I imagine that a couple of these games are going to be tough, and we might lose something. But at the end of the day, again, we're at the best position we've ever been in league history. So I'll take it. And I would like to take it all the way to the Super Bowl this year.
And you know, it's
Desi, I
interesting.
don't think you've noticed, like, Laura and I have the same mentality. We're never going to say we're going to win a game. We never say it's going to be easy. We never say we have to win the game and be out the stadium before we can say we won that game, because we've just been hurt too many times.
Absolutely.
So I hear you and I feel you. I think next week's going to be tough against Green Bay, and I think the Bills game is going to be awesome with you guys. And let's just go from there. Like, I don't know what to say. I'm right there for you. I want you guys to win as long as you're not playing us.
And I'll say, Laura, you know, I love the point that you made about your division, right? You didn't think that the division was going to be as strong as it is, and it was setting up to sort of be like the AFC North division, right? So last year it was like the big thing between the Steelers and the Browns and the Ravens. You know, is Cincinnati. All those 4 teams were pretty solid. Well, Cincinnati's struggling, but we already figured out the reason why that is, but we won't talk. We've talked about that before. But no, so not only are you guys having an amazing year, it's within an amazing division too. So shout out to you guys. You know, this is going to be interesting. If you guys both end up in the Super Bowl, woo! I don't know who I'm going to cheer for.
I might have been looking up like flights to New Orleans, or like driving to New Orleans. Like, I've driven to New Orleans before.
Don't tease me, girl.
Yeah, I mean, from where you are,
I'm not going to the game. I can't afford tickets to the game.
Yeah, that's kind of where
you know
we
how
are.
the mafia
too.
tailgates.
Yeah,
That's gonna like hitchhike on the way. So
yeah, we already have a Super Bowl plan. So, you know, fingers crossed. We're not going to New Orleans, but we're going to go to Detroit because we want to be around other Lions fans.
That's a great idea.
You know, it feels right to be around other Lions fans, especially with the history of this team and being, you know, never making it to a Super Bowl, not even being this close ever before. So
awesome. Well, listen,
did you hear that, Barb? I know my sister's listening, so maybe if I show up at her house, go ahead and clean that house for the Super Bowl weekend. Maybe I'll pop up to Buffalo for the Super Bowl. That's it. That's not a bad idea.
Good idea. Then you'll be around other fans.
Just make sure
not
you
a bad idea at all.
Make sure you pack clothes this time. All right, so now it's about the time where we're going to go over our picks. Laura, I'd love for you to stick around. Maybe throw your picks in there too.
Sure.
And then we'll wrap this baby up. So tomorrow night, as we had already said, we have the Packers playing the Lions at home in Detroit. So it looks like Beth picked the Packers, but see, your friend here, Laura, picked the Lions. So
you know why I picked the Packers is because I need the Lions to lose a couple.
Yeah.
It's sheer out of necessity. But
I
do think it's going to be an amazing game. I think it'll be a game either way.
And you know, it's weird because we don't normally play Thursday right after Thanksgiving. You know, so we usually have over a week until our next game. But now we've had so many injuries and we're coming into this game, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, I think the good news is these next 3 games that we have listed, I don't think anyone is going to pick the other teams. We both picked the Titans, who are playing at home against the Jags. We both picked the Dolphins, who are at home against the Jets. And we both picked the Vikings, who are playing at home against the Falcons. I don't know. I don't think I'd put money against any of those.
No, but I need the Falcons to win.
Well, good luck.
I know.
It's been ugly lately, man, and I'm here in Atlanta, and I'm like, oh
yeah, I don't think they will, but I need them to.
So there's something called Kirktober, where like Kirk Cousins has a great October month, and then which he won all through October, and then he stopped playing football again. So I'm sorry.
I know.
It's going to be a disappointing December.
I feel like if you're a quarterback who came back from an Achilles tendon tear, this is not your year. All right, so let's move along. We have the Bills, who are playing the Rams at home. So that'll be an interesting game. But of course, Beth and I both picked the Bills to win. But, you know, Stafford can be a little sneaky. So we'll have to
think it's going to be a good game. I'm not convinced that we've got this game, but I think I think the culture and morale with the Bills right now is so tight. I've heard it being said, and I'll say it as well. It just feels different
Yeah.
this year. The camaraderie and the group, it just feels different.
Mhm.
And Josh
so-
Allen is engaged now, so he's got more goodness.
He's looking for 2 rings this year.
there,
2 rings.
there it is. All right, we both picked the Bears to beat my 49ers. Do not
I'm
shame
sorry.
me, faithful. Do not shame me, okay? I actually froze in the tundra and watched them lose last week, so I get to say that this is my pick. And then finally, we both picked the Chargers to beat the Chiefs, mostly because we all continue want to see the Chiefs lose. Laura, do you agree?
I would like the 49ers to beat the Bears, but I definitely would like anybody to beat the Chiefs at this point.
Okay, we're definitely.
We've done it once.
It's true.
We got one. Now we just got to do it again later.
No, exactly. We got. Remember, we had. We should have done the Chargers drink this week because didn't it win? Didn't we pick the? That was the week we picked the Bills drink, right? And the Bills beat the Chiefs. Was that the week?
We
That was-
did. We did.
Mhm. All right, finally, we both picked the Saints to beat the Giants in New York. We have both picked the Eagles, who are playing at home against the Carolina Panthers. Now, here's another split. I picked the Browns, who are playing the Steelers at home in Pittsburgh. So Beth picked Pittsburgh. So that'll be an interesting. I think that'll be a tremendous game. I think that's going to be
I think it'll be a great game.
any game within their own division. I always look forward to AFC North versus AFC North. And then we have Packers.
Only if the Lord can
Oh, Lord Jesus. Jameis. We didn't talk about Jameis this whole
get
time.
Jameis Winston to give up. I had a whole segment up on him too. I was like, man, that poor man.
Listen, he
Hopefully
prayed to
the Lord will
Jesus.
deliver him from the pick sixes, and
That's
we
right.
will, and he will win. And if he does, I'm all in.
Listen,
The world needs more Jameis Winston in it. So
he helped
whatever it takes.
Gilligan get off the island, okay? So he can help Jameis deliver him from the pick sixes. So I'm here for the
I
Browns.
love that man. I love that man.
Packers are playing the Bucks, and Laura, you'll love that both Beth and I picked the Bucks to win.
Well, the Raiders are playing the Bucks.
I'm sorry, Raiders. What did I say? Packers. Raiders.
Packers are playing us. So.
You.
Yeah. Thank you. And Seahawks are playing the can't see. Cardinals.
I got you.
I put my circle over it. So with the Cardinals are at home in Arizona. Both of us picked the Cardinals to win that one.
I think that's going to be a good game too. I think that could be sneaky.
Agree. And then finally, Monday Night Football. We both picked the Bengals. God bless you. Come on, we got to get this win for the Bengals, man. Stop farting around. It's the Cowboys, man. There's no excuses.
I know.
No excuses. All right.
Better
we have,
happen.
here we go. What did she say here? A Chiefs loss brings all of the rest of the fan bases together. Amen, sister. Amen.
It's true.
And then that last game was such a Jameis experience game. It sure was. Listen, I was singing Dashing Through the Snow for like 3 hours after I saw that clip. Okay. Finally, there's one more thing, and I almost forgot it.
Yes!
Cocktail mocktail, friend. We didn't do it, so let's go for it. What you got for our friend Laura this week?
So this week we picked Detroit.
Yay!
And I picked a classic drink. It's called the Lion's Tail. Have you heard of the Lion's Tail? I'm sure you have.
I am
We
familiar.
have. It is bourbon and allspice dram and lime juice and a little simple syrup. It's an old school classic cocktail, been around for years. And it's fabulous. It's a great drink. It's also probably on my list of top 5 that I've made for this podcast and that I've picked for this podcast. So that is the cocktail. And our mocktail is
I love this one.
the Barry Sanders mocktail.
That's brilliant.
So, and this is a great one. My kids enjoy this one. I actually just made it tonight for them. It is blackberries and lemonade muddled together to make a blackberry lemonade. and then it's iced tea. So it's like an Arnold Palmer with blackberry, and it's just refreshing and light and just fruity. It's a lot of fun, and it's fun to make because you get to muddle it, and the kids had a good time doing it. But this is a really good one for everyone and anyone who's interested in a change of beverage. I was going to take one for myself tonight because I'm still getting over this cold. You can probably hear it in my voice. But I decided to make the cocktail anyway and just drink hot tea in between.
Perfect. Those are beautiful.
Well, thanks. We knew you were coming. We wanted to make sure you felt at home here. Guys, thanks for listening. Make sure that you check our Instagram page. I still haven't gotten off my tail and gotten the Facebook thing going yet, but definitely on Instagram. We did not do Rate the Fit this week. We were just too busy having too much fun in Buffalo. So we'll be sure to bring that back next week. But check there to vote on your favorite outfits of the week. Go there to get your recipes that we just shared on your mocktail cocktails and just all the other nonsense that we may post on there. Right now, I think there's a live video that we posted of us walking to Highmark Stadium. Definitely check that out. And I am going to get up the video that I just posted and shared with you guys for the first time of us trying to break that darn table. We did break the table. Sorry, not trying. We did.
We did. It took a couple tries. I do want to say one thing because I would be remiss if I did not mention that for the picks last week, Desi, you got all 16 right.
I did a Jared
Every
Goff.
game.
Woo!
You did. You had a perfect game.
Perfect game.
Perfect game. Super impressed. Good job.
Wow. Hey, it's surprise pod week. Like these are all just surprises that we just sprung on each other. Well, as always, guys, thanks for joining us. We have such a blast with you guys. Make sure you check us out again next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Same place, same time. Otherwise, enjoy your footballing this week and join us again next week. Happy football.
Bye.
Bye.